Hello, in this video we're going to look at a production function that gives us increasing, diminishing, and negative marginal returns to labor. So here's the specific functional form. This functional form again will give us three different types of marginal returns to labor. So at first you can see that output increases at an increasing rate. That is increasing marginal returns to labor. Then beyond 100, output increases at a decreasing rate, and that is diminishing marginal returns to labor. Output will reach some maximum, and then beyond this point we have negative marginal returns to labor. Adding more workers actually reduces output. So we're measuring labor on the horizontal axis and the firm's output on the vertical axis. So here's the firm's production function. L is units of labor, Q is the quantity of output, and we want to find where they're increasing marginal returns to labor. So we're going to do this first, getting the marginal product to labor. So we take the derivative of this production function with respect to labor, and we'd get back 60L minus 0.3L squared. 2 times 30 here gives us a 60. Subtracting 1 from the exponent leaves us with L. Bringing a 3 down in front, so 3 times 0.1 is where this 0.3 is coming from. Subtracting 1 from that exponent leaves us with L squared. So we're going to show that increasing marginal returns to labor, that is where marginal product is positive and rising, occurs when L is less than 100. If we were to graph this marginal product to labor, it would look like an inverted U. So here at L equals 100, the marginal product of labor is about 3,000, it looks like, okay? And so anything to the left here of 100, we have increasing marginal returns to labor. And anything to the right of this 100, we have diminishing marginal returns to labor. And in fact, beyond 200, at 200, marginal product to labor is 0, but beyond 200, we have negative marginal returns to labor. Actually, hiring beyond 200 workers causes output to fall. Marginal product is negative. So once again, our marginal product graph, taking our marginal product that we derived, now we're going to take the derivative of it. So this is the second derivative of the production function, and we're going to set that equal to 0. This is how we're trying to find where there are increasing marginal returns to labor. So setting this derivative equal to 0 and solving for L equals 100. Technically, this is an inflection point. It's where the second derivative changes signs. So increasing marginal returns to labor are going to be anything less than 100, so marginal product is positive and rising anytime L is less than 100. And again, if we were to graph this, you would see that nicely right here. Let's find where marginal product of labor is 0 to help locate where negative marginal returns to labor begin. So we take our marginal product of labor, this is not the derivative marginal product, just the marginal product of labor, and we set that equal to 0. And we have basically a quadratic equation. So we're going to solve this quadratic equation using the quadratic formula and making our substitutions. The B is to minus 60, the A is a 0.3, and C is 0. There is no constant here. And then simplifying this, L equals 0 or 200. We can ignore the 0. At L equals 200, output is going to be maximized. And therefore, negative marginal returns to labor, where marginal product is negative and output is falling from hiring more workers, is going to occur when we hire beyond 200 workers. So in summary, increasing marginal returns to labor, where marginal product is positive and rising, or where total output is increasing at an increasing rate, that occurs where L is less than 100. Diminishing marginal returns to labor, where marginal product is positive but decreasing. In this case, output is increasing at a diminishing rate, and that'll occur for the values of L between 100 and 200. So to sum everything up, here we have our production function. We graphed our production function. We found our inflection point, okay, where L equals 100. To the left of that point, we have increasing marginal returns to labor. Hiring more workers increases output at an increasing rate. Once we hire beyond this inflection point, diminishing marginal returns to labor. Yes, output's still going up, but it's going up at a decreasing rate. You'll notice that this production function is getting flatter and flatter here, this curve, as we add more and more workers. We found where output is maximized. That occurs where marginal product is 0. That occurred where L equals 200. And then anything beyond L equals 200, we argued we had negative marginal returns to labor. Hiring more workers actually reduced output. And then corresponding then to the marginal product to labor, so if we're to derive the marginal product to labor from this production function, we get this inverted U. Over here we have increasing marginal returns to labor all the way up to 100, the inflection point. So marginal product is positive and rising, so we're adding more and more to the firm's output with each an additional worker hired in this range. Beyond 100 workers, the firm starts experiencing diminishing marginal returns to labor. Yes, output is still going up here when marginal product is falling, but it's going up at a diminishing rate. So that corresponds to this point of this area of the production function over here. And my arrow's a little bit screwed up, but marginal product of 0 is marginal product equals 0 at 200 units of labor. And you'll notice that occurs when output is maximized. And finally, negative marginal returns to labor occur beyond 200 units of labor. And that is going to be in this range over here. All right, I will stop here.